What up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Creeps of the Crypt. I'm your host, John, along with my co-host,
Other Alan. Welcome, guys. It feels like it's been a while, but I'm glad we're back.
Yes, it has been a while for us, but for them, no.
Yeah, we're kind of working on getting back into the groove of things and trying to get ahead of the episodes
Yeah.
that we're recording.
On top of
Because for a time we were like 2-3 episodes ahead at one point, right?
a lot more, I think. At one time, I was surprised because
We were pumping them out.
I was behind on videos myself for my YouTube channel. I thought I was, right? So, and then I was like, it was like a slog to get through some of the episodes, and
Right.
of Freddy's Nightmares. So I was like, I don't want to do it. I'm like, oh shit, I got to do it because I'm coming up on the
Talk
time.
about slog, yeah.
Yeah, but then I'm looking, I'm like, oh shit, I'm set for like the whole month. So I was like, oh, okay, I got time. So it ended up working out.
Yeah, it worked out well.
Yeah. But yeah, how's my mic sound? Because I got a new mic.
It sounds good.
Yeah.
I think it sounds a little bit better, but I wouldn't say it's a super drastic, but yeah, it sounds good.
That's good. I'm just trying to test it out. I did use it for a video I made, the intro only, and it sounded a little bit low, but I do notice that it does not pick up background noise as much as the other one. So we're here to talk about episode 3 of season 3, which aired on June 15th, 1991, along with the other 2 episodes prior. It was a premiere, 3 episodes, like they did the first season. But yeah, so it's called The Trap, and it was written by Scott Alexander and directed by Mr. Michael J. Fox. And Scott Alexander is known for writing The People vs. Larry Flint. He wrote Ed Wood. I believe he's working on Goosebumps, but I'm not sure in what capacity. Yeah, so it was written by Jason Alexander. Scott Alexander. Imagine Jason Alexander wrote this, George Costanza. But it was written by Scott Alexander and directed by Michael J. Fox. I don't know if this is Michael J. Fox's first directorial debut. It says he directed. Yeah, this is the first thing he ever directed.
Okay, I was surprised because I would think he at least done something else too, like a Spin City episode or something.
No, Spin City didn't come out yet. Spin City was later, I believe, in the
96, right?
Because this is 90, so he was still working. Oh no, he wasn't at this time, because Leah Thompson told us that she was leaving the set for Back to the Future 2 to go be on season 1 of Tales from the Crypt. So he just finished probably season part 3, because part 2 was from back to back. No, then that would be season 2 finished Back to the Future 3. So yeah. So, which is funny, this show went on for so long, right? It went on. This is ridiculous. There's a, I don't know what season it is, but there's a commercial out there of Michael J. Fox talking about how he was hosting a 3-episode season finale or premiere of Tales from the Crypt, and on HBO. And one of the episodes was directed. Oh no, I think they were just 3 episodes they were playing on HBO that were directed by Robert Zemeckis. And I believe one was the premiere or the finale. Let me look this up, because I don't want to talk out of my ass. Maybe it was season 6. Not that one.
Yeah, for those who don't know already, Michael J. Fox is known for like Back to the Future movies, Spin City, as we mentioned.
Oh, they know. Everyone knows who Michael J. Fox is.
A couple different movies.
So
hey, you never know. There's somebody out there that might not know.
All right. So Robert Zemeckis was it was the finale, the season finale, season 6 of Tales from the Crypt. So when they aired that season finale, the 2 episodes, they played all Zemeckis directed Tales from the Crypt, and that was the 3rd one. So they played the one with the Santa one, another one he did, and then this the season 6, and it was season 6 episode 15 titled "You Murderer," starring John Lithgow, some girl, and Humphrey Bogart. So that came out in 1995, that episode. And they were talking about how Zemeckis, they said, the director of Forrest Gump. So between Back to the Future 3 What did Zemeckis do after Back to the Future 3? He went straight to Forrest Gump. That's a big leap. You know, I know he did Who Framed Roger Rabbit in like somewhere in between there. Let me see.
Yeah, I gotta look it up. I'm not familiar with the timeline between those.
These are
projects.
producers.
Let's see here. Good old IMDb. Back to the Future 3, and then he did some TV movie called Two Fisted Tales in 92. Death Becomes Her in 92.
Oh, that was a good movie.
Forrest Gump in 94.
So
that's underrated. Death Becomes Her.
Yes, it's a good one. I didn't know it was Robert Zemeckis that did it either. So that's it. I just really liked that movie. But interestingly enough, so in that time period, while this Tales from the Crypt came out, Zemeckis did Back to the Future 2 and 3, Death Becomes Her, and Forrest Gump. Unbelievable. Like, honestly, unbelievable.
Yeah, he's pumping them out.
Yeah. Pretty
good
freaking
stuff, too.
amazing.
It's not like it wasn't like most of it was shit. I mean, this guy's, they had a long career and he's still doing stuff, right? Is he doing anything new?
I don't think so. It says he has something called Tune Now, the television series. And then he's got this movie he's going to direct. 2 movies is in production, I guess, or in development.
Yeah.
One's
called The King, and it's got Dwayne Johnson in it. Interesting.
I'm tired of Dwayne Johnson.
Well, interesting collaboration.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, Zemeckis also, he does it a lot, though, because I remember he did that movie Castaway, which I hate. And while he was doing that movie, the only way he could do that film was like, or they gave him the schedule because Tom Hanks wanted to actually lose the weight. So he didn't want to, so Tom Hanks gained a little bit more weight for the opening of that film. And then he wanted to pretend like he really was Castaway and he lost all this weight. But in order to do that, they needed a long schedule because it was going to take Tom Hanks time to lose that weight. The only way they would let Zemeckis have that schedule, that it was that long, I think it was like 2 years or something, is that if he directed another film in between that time. And then he did that movie, What Lies Beneath, with Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer. So interesting, like he really does this a lot, where he just constantly doing 2 films at a time. I remember Zemeckis talking about Zemeckis. We'll get to this episode, but he said that one of his biggest regrets was doing Back to the Future 2 and 3 back to back, because he said he didn't have time to edit Back to the Future 2. But Back to the Future 3, it was the movie he wanted to be in. 2 didn't end up being the exact way he wanted. And it's funny because Back to the Future is considered by many to be one of the, it's not a sequel that people say is better than the original, but it's one that's just as good, because there's some sequels that everyone goes, that's a better than the original, like Godfather Part 2. Some people say that. I would say Short Circuit 2 is better than Short Circuit 1. So yeah. But
yeah, Spider-Man 2, the OG one.
Oh yeah,
Tobey Maguire.
Yeah. But why don't you tell us what this episode is about briefly?
Yeah, the episode, as you mentioned, is titled The Trap. It stars Bruce McGill, Teri Garr, famously known. I remember her from Young Frankenstein. And Bruno Kirby plays Bruce McGill's brother, played Lou Paloma. And, they're heavily in debt, and they try to find a way to kind of pretty much commit life insurance fraud to, get out of the country and just get that quick cash. And that's kind of like the premise of the episode. Don't want to get too much into it without spoiling it. But yeah, I mean, I think, that pretty much summarizes what this one's about. I know I had a chance to take a look at the comic this was based on, and it's mostly pretty accurate, I'd say. I think there's some slight changes there, but I think this is a good example of one of the more better adaptations from the comic to the episode.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the comic compared to this?
Okay, so let's talk briefly about the comic before talking about the actual episode, everything that happens in it. But the comic is a bit different in the fact that they make his wife a total bitch in the beginning, and she's the one that's miserable and angry. Or at least that's the way I read it. I read it like she was upset at him that he was a loser. He wasn't an abusive husband like he is in the episode, which we'll get to. So it was more like she was annoying. She was already cheating. They imply it because she's talking to this Undertaker that's not his brother. So there's that aspect of it. But besides that, it's true to the episode, or the episode's true to the comic, pretty much. I think the episode does it better. Yeah, I think the comic was pretty good. It was this true, and it changed the right stuff. That's what I want to say. It changed just the right amount of stuff.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think what they managed to do was a little bit better than the comic. So I think we're both in agreement on that one.
Yeah.
I gotta say, yeah, I really liked Bruce McGill. I think he was really great in this one because I've seen him in other stuff. I know he was in. I know him from Time Cop. I remember him in Time Cop. He was good in that one too. But he had a good balance of comedic, and also he was kind of he was kind of a dick to his wife, and it was really, like you said, it was a good balance of what I think would make a good Tales from the Crypt episode. It's got some pretty dark moments and also comedic moments, and just campiness involved as well.
Yeah, no, it's Bruce McGill. I said it last time on the last podcast. I've known him from from MacGyver and from Quantum Leap, and he was a lot of TV shows back in the day. He was always guest appearing on TV shows, so I known him for that. I remember this episode. I remember watching it as a kid. I remember being so excited when as soon as I heard Michael J. Fox's, he's in this episode too. As soon as I heard his voice, I was like, oh my God. But anyway, so Alan did explain what the episode is, but let's talk about briefly how this episode plays out. So different from the comic. So Bruce McGill plays Lou Paloma, and he's just a piece of garbage. He can't hold a job. He's this greasy Italian.
He's really greasy. Yeah, he's got the slick back hair and the mustache.
Yeah.
He goes into that little funny story with his wife, like he lost his job and delivering pizza, and he couldn't find his car.
I was gonna say, you know what's funny? I didn't remember what job he had, but I was literally just gonna say he's a pizza delivery guy. That's just be like a sarcastic asshole, and I was like, oh yeah, that was his job. But yeah, so that's why it differs from the comic. The guy's a nice guy, and he's like, oh, you deserve better to his wife. But this one is like, he's a piece of garbage. He's like, I'll get another job. She does complain, but she's not complaining like a bitch. She's complaining like a housewife she's just miserable because they never have any money. And he's
just concerned. They can't really do much with what they don't have, really. But yeah, he's always trying to finagle his way out of some cash or borrowing people. He's willing to go as far, borrow money from family and all that, and
his mother.
Without probably not paying it back.
Yeah, he's a mama's boy. Yeah, which is so that he never pays it back. So he's a little he's just a grimy, miserable, loathsome person that just can't have a job, doesn't want to hold a job, but he expects to have the life of, like, it felt like they were mixed between the 50s and the 60s. The episode, like the setting, like. Or at least he got his mother's house or something. We don't know where his mother is, but he got her furniture because the house seemed like it had lights from the 70s, from the 60s. It just felt, and the coloring of the paint and everything felt very 60s, 70s. Like that's what it felt like. And then the way she was dressed too.
The wallpaper looked pretty old too.
Mm-hmm. And her hair and the way she's just. By the way, yes, she's his wife is played by Teri Garr. You said she is She's very pretty. When in other things, not so much this one, but I've seen her in a lot of things as well. I think you said Young Frankenstein.
She's in Mr. Mom, right?
Yes, and Tootsie. But I think is she the mother? Is she Richard Dreyfuss's wife in Close Encounters? I don't know. I don't remember. I haven't seen that in forever because that was a movie I thought was going to be totally different. When I was a kid, and I was bored as hell. I was like, "This isn't E.T. What is this? This is garbage. I hate this." But yeah. So Lou, he just lost his job. His wife is complaining, and they're always out of cash. How they're going to pay the rent? And he goes, "I'll get another job," And she's like, "You said we were going to move out of here, and all these things." So finally, he gets a phone call. He doesn't want to answer. He answers. It's a debt collector for his insurance. and they mentioned the fact that he hasn't paid and he owes money to pay for his life insurance. So then he comes up with this brilliant idea afterwards. He's going to call his brother to come over to tell him what his idea is. And his brother is a undertaker or mortician. So
much like the comic, but I think the guy that the wife hired was a friend of theirs, or she just knew him.
In the comic, no, he was an undertaker in the comic because the cops knew him when he talks to them. So they all know who he is, Mr. Grover or whatever. But in the comic, you could see it coming, honestly. But if you're a kid, probably not. When the comic, you could see it coming a mile away. I remember when I saw this episode, I did not expect it until the scene coming up later. But anyway, so he tells his brother Billy, played by Bruno Kirby, he was in The Godfather, he was in Sleepers, he was a fantastic actor, he was in Donnie Brasco. He's a fantastic actor. He was in The Godfather Part 2. He played Clemenza. So he's a fantastic actor. Rest in peace, he died. And so his brother comes in, and Lou tells him, I want you not to kill me, but I want to be dead, basically. And he goes, I got $250,000 life insurance, right? Which is different than...
Just faking his death.
Well, he got $250,000 life insurance, but it pays out for $500,000 or something. I don't know. Either way, in the comic is $25,000, which back then in the 50s was, that's like $1 million probably. Yeah, exactly. So his brother's like, what are you talking? Like, I could go to jail. Like, what are you talking about? But Lou convinces him that they have to do this because he's the coroner. They'll believe him if he pretends he's dead. And cops come. He says, you're the coroner. You could write it off that I died, and I'll get the money. And then, this is what we'll do. So I don't remember what exactly he offers his brother. Like, why would his brother do this? I forgot if he offered him money or not. Because
I don't think he did, from what I remember. I know in the comic he was the mortician, Undertaker offered him like 5%.
Yeah, he offered him
to do it.
Yeah, the Undertaker said
like 5,000 or something.
Yeah, $5,000.
And with his brother, he just kind of peer pressured him, or just kind of, in a way, kind of blackmail him to say, if you don't do it, I'll tell mom that the money I borrowed from you, you spent it on it, and it had all his name on it.
Yeah,
but that's kind of pretty much about it.
Yeah. So then the Billy agrees to do it. His wife paints his face and makes him look like a freaking clown. Actually, you know what? They paints his face to make him look like I do in my second episode of Ghost Crusaders, because I looked tired or sick, or had bags under my eyes. So I put makeup on myself, and I never put makeup on myself before, and I look like a fucking ghost myself. That's how much paint it looked like. I just take lipstick and I'm the Joker. It's so terrible. If I'm gonna re-upload it, I'm gonna re-edit it, and I'm gonna fucking put that in black and white, and even that will be my face will be so white in black and white. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but it was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like white face. It almost reminded me of like how they probably had the makeup going, but it was black and white. You can really tell like the original Addams Family, or the dad, or no, the Munsters. I'm thinking of the dad would look like that. It's almost like too ghostly looking. Like that one episode of Television Terror, like those people that are coming up the stairs every day. That's what it looked like.
Yes, that's exactly what. Yeah, but the father from the Munsters, nobody's gonna know. Well, some people might. They're watching.
They probably had him painted, but who knows? It was all black and white.
Yeah,
but yeah, that was a better example.
Yeah, but it's funny. So he goes, "This isn't gonna work," because Billy comes in. He goes, "Hey, I paint my face. What do you think?" And he's like, "This is terrible." He goes, "It's supposed to be more ashy, not freaking white." And then he goes, "See, I told you." So he gets mad. He goes, "This is terrible." He goes, "Oh, don't worry about it. I'll make sure I cover your face before the cops come." So he tells him how this is gonna work. He makes a cut in his shirt, stages the whole scene. Basically, uses actual brain matter, or not brain matter, body matter, because he has it, blood. They do a good job, and there's a scene when Lou is out of the room, and he tells her, like, she says, why are you here? Like, if I call the cops, why are you here? She goes, well, I'm your brother-in-law, and you called me because I'm also the mortician that came to check, or whatever, or you love me, or whatever the fuck the case may be. And he goes, well, then what happens after? And there's a little moment between the two where you see that actually always liked each other, but for some reason Lou got in the way, and he took maybe he took her from him, and he never had the balls to ask her out, but she always liked him. You could sense it right there in the early stages.
Yeah, there was a vibe there, and then you kind of already started to predict a little bit, much like the comic, or where it was going to end up leading to.
Well, the comic, I didn't really. Yes, in the beginning, you already know she knew this guy is her friend. All of a sudden, it didn't seem too sketchy, right? Like
too good to be true. They just found the guy who was willing to do this just for that 5,000 cash. I know it might have been a lot back then, but it's still a pretty big risk.
No, but especially because she's the one that is the upset and angry about, you know what I mean? Like, so if they would have made her not like that, maybe he found the mortician instead in the comic, then it would have worked like here. They did a good job making them brothers. That works perfectly. And then
it works a bit better,
yes, and that you can see that there's something that they have. So anyway, so he's like, he keeps scratching his fucking balls, which is hilarious, right? So this entire time he goes, listen, you gotta stop. He goes, I can't, you know. So, which also leads to what he says, makes me think he has crabs, because he goes, I can't scratch this. This isn't gonna work because I can't stop scratching my balls. So he tells his wife, hit me, or he tells his brother, hit me with the fire poker. His brother's like, I can't hit you. And he goes, okay, you do it to his wife. It goes, no, he just tells his wife to do it. And she goes, I can't do it or whatever. And he goes, oh, do it for all the times I've hit you, I slapped you around and everything. And then you can see Bruno Kirby's character look like you hit her, like upset. And she goes, oh, how about all the time? You know, last week when I said I was staying late at work, what, delivering pizzas? I mean, I was like, what the fuck? Why would you believe this? And he goes, well, I was really
pizza place staying out 24/7.
Yeah, he was like, well, I was really out banging your this girl at the. He goes, she goes, my best friend.
Your best friend.
And he goes, oh yeah, I gave it to her 3 or 4, 5. You know, he does a good job being this Italian Guido, grease. I don't want to be offensive, but this is what they used to call him. Listen, I grew up with Italians. I really did. Like, my best friends were Italians growing up, and I was at their house 5 days out of 7, you know, every single day. So I had dinner at their house. Their father used to cook every day. They don't know if I think they appreciate it. That's special. You know, not many people are able to have a family dinner every single night together. And his father made sure that was the case.
Yeah.
But the best thing he made for me was his chicken cutlets. Oh, they were the best. And stuffed mushrooms. The best. I loved it. So long story short, he gets pissed because she can't hit him after fucking Lou's saying all this stuff what he did. And the gestures he does is exactly what Italians do. Like, oh yeah, I was giving it to her with his fist and like he was putting it down. And then Bruno Kirby takes the fire poker and just starts whacking the crap out of him until he knocks him out. Then, I don't know what happens that I forgot right after. There's a moment between the two. I don't know.
Yeah, they have a moment, like he was just saying that, you know, I can't believe he treated you this way, and it kind of transitions to the cops showing up at their place, and the guy, for the connections for the Back to the Future folks, the principal from Back to the Future is like the police or the sergeant, I think.
Strickland.
Yeah, Strickland.
Yeah,
I know him from that, and then the Problem Child movies. Oddly enough,
I just know him from Back to the Future. I don't think I saw him in anything, and if I did, it was always as Strickland. I think he was in like certain. I have a feeling he was in like Pretty in Pink or some other teenage movie, but I just know him as Strickland. He was always Mr. Strickland. Yeah, I guess he's him and Michael J. Fox are buddies because Michael J. Fox cast him to be in this episode as the cop. He just plays a cop in here. I don't think he's a sergeant. Maybe he is in the comic as a sergeant that shows up. And
I'm remembering he was in that Masters of the Universe movie too.
Oh, he's a cop in that, right? He's a cop in that.
Cop that was like following him around.
That's what I remember.
Just getting in the way.
Yeah.
I think he was in War Games too, I think.
I don't remember War Games.
He was in that
I know
too.
that's with Matthew Broderick. But Masters, of course, he was. He couldn't believe.
Yeah, he always plays a person of authority. It's in some way, shape, or form.
Well, it's funny, yeah. So
he's good at that.
Yeah, so he's there at the crime scene. They already covered up the brother. So because he's the Undertaker, the mortician, this guy knows him. He trusts him, and then he goes, "Oh, what's this?" Which works out perfectly too. he goes, because he says, I forgot what they wanted to check. He goes, no, you don't have to check that, whatever. I think it's probably the fire poker. So he was like, I take your word for it, Doc, you're the best or whatever. I believe you, understand, blah, blah, blah. So he goes, oh, what's this? Strickland, I'm going to call him Strickland. He finds the fire poker bent. And he goes, I thought you said he didn't, did he tell you? It doesn't make sense why he'd ask that question, but whatever. It's for us, not for them. So she goes, oh, yes, because she says the last thing he said was, I love you. And then she goes, the cop finds the fire poker. And he goes, what's this? It's bent. Did he say anything about this? And then Bruno Kirby goes, oh, didn't he say he got hit in the head with a fire poker? And she goes, yes. He said he was hit in the head with a fire poker, and I love you. I was like, what? That's why this one episode's really funny. There's a lot of little moments where you just start laughing, especially later. So the Bruno Kirby goes,
a couple of the lines get you there. Yeah. You gotta suspend a little disbelief there, because I feel like there could have been a lot more questions asked about this one.
Yeah. So then
he walks away, and then you see him scratch his balls underneath the blanket.
But before that, Bruno Kirby goes, what does it matter if he got hit in the head or not? So the cop says, which is very important, which works at the end too. The cop says, well, maybe he hit the attacker with the fire poker, so there could be DNA evidence on the fire poker. And he goes, oh, well, you know what? That's good. I'll check it myself. So Bruno Kirby takes it. Then that's when Bruce McGill or Lou scratches his balls while he's underneath the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I think he has crabs. Is because he told her he was banging last week her best friend. Sure. So then he's scratching his balls the entire time. I think that's kind of funny. So so there's that. Then they cut to already at the funeral, or nobody showed up besides his family, because Lou has no friends because he's such a dirtbag. So the only people that showed up was the cop and his brother, his mother, and his wife. And his mother is played by Carol Baker. And the only reason why I looked into who the mother is played by, because I think she's overacting in this episode. Is the only reason I looked is because when I went to IMDb and I was looking at, I wanted to see if who else was in this episode, even though I knew, but I wanted to see if Bruce McGill was dead. I know Bruno Kirby died, but I wanted to see if Bruce McGill died. And he's not, he's still alive. But I saw the picture for Carol Baker, and I was like, holy shit. So it's a black and white photo on IMDb. Look up Carol Baker, and you're going to see she was like Marilyn Monroe hot. Yeah, she was in this episode, she's gross, and she can't even act. But in this picture, oh my God, she's like Marilyn Monroe. She is gorgeous.
There's an old photo of her. I guess she was in a movie in like '65 with Leslie Nielsen. She was still looking good back then.
Oh my God, there's a picture. You know what she looks like? It was one of the pictures when I went on her IMDb. I clicked on. It's called Something Wild, 1961. The first picture, she looks like Jennifer Lawrence. And I was like, is Jennifer Lawrence related to her? And then I clicked, and she has a daughter that's an actress, or was an actress, maybe it's still an actress, old lady. But doesn't look anything as gorgeous as her mother. What a beautiful woman. But yeah, so Mama, was it Mama? I can't say his last name. What is it? Paloma.
Paloma?
Yeah, I keep saying Palermo. Which Palermo is in Italy. But yeah, Paloma. So Mama Paloma's there, and she's overreacting, and it's all because Lou was her favorite. Even though, and they both,
yeah, I think,
well, maybe it was the mole, because Lou has one trait. By the way, this is the
that's part. The one little detail too.
If
you don't catch it, you'll miss it. They both had that same mole, some kind of a little smudge they put on his cheek.
And the whole idea is that because they said what they're gonna do. The plan was he dies, he goes to Brazil with his wife. They retired to Brazil. They're gonna take the money and they're gonna go retire. Okay, he said he's going to get plastic surgery, get a fake passport, retire in Brazil with his wife. Okay, so at the funeral, the mom goes crazy. She starts talking shit to her son. He goes, "I'm your son too," and she goes, "What did she said something. She was like, "Don't rub it in my face" or something like that.
I think something like that. Yeah.
She's like, "Don't."
She was accusing him of killing him too.
she hates him. She hates Billy. I don't know why. Billy's like, he said earlier, like, Lou's always been mom's favorite. Like, she doesn't care about me. But there are some people out there that have one favorite child. So Lou, for some reason, maybe the mole, like we said, is why she and him are favorites. So Billy says, dude, we're going to go through with Lou's wishes and cremate him and then throw his ashes in the sea. So Mama Paloma goes crazy. She jumps on the casket like she was at a black funeral, and she starts screaming and going wild. And then the cop takes her out. And that's when the wife and Billy start having a little talk. And
a little moment there.
Another moment
going on there.
And it leads to them getting down. Like, she's like, oh, like, she's the aggressor. Like, she throws him on top of the fucking casket and she starts making out with him. She's also taller. It's funny the way it works. And then he's looking at her and he's like, God, you look good in black. And this is just about to start having sex on top of the casket. And then Lou's in there looking with a flashlight.
Looking at a brochure in Brazil.
Looking at a brochure.
With a cigarette in his mouth.
And then he starts hearing his wife moaning, and he's like, hey, what's going on up there? You know, like, and they literally at top of the casket about to have sex. And then and Billy accidentally kicks the fucking conveyor for the casket to go into.
Yeah, like the lever, the conveyor belt, to go to the, pretty much to try to cremate him.
Yeah, and then
almost gets close.
And then she's like, stop. And then he's like, no. And then she opens her legs. Like, she's like, yeah.
Oh, that was the wife that kicked the lever. Yeah.
And then as it's going in, I don't know, she's like, it's getting hot. I don't know. They think that the heat is because they're so passionately like making love. And then Mama Palermo comes in and then she jumps on the thing and goes, Mom, what are you doing? Whatever. She goes, shut up, you little shit. She's like, she really does not like Billy at all. It's really sad. And you would think she would like him. He's the one with a stable job, although he doesn't have a wife. He has a stable job. He's revered in the community, at least by the police officers. They look at him as a high-profile person, you know, like he's the mortician in the town, or he's the undertaker or whatever. But no, the mom just doesn't like him. So the cop pulls her off again. They stop it from actually burning Lou alive, and then they cut to at the autopsy table or wherever they are, and Lou's laying down like he's sleeping, and his wife and Billy are about to toast. I hate that. This is the one thing I do hate. This they did this in the 80s. They do it in movies sometimes, where they always will have a scene of a nerd, and then he's partying or something, and he's like, let's say he's a scientist or something, and he's drinking out of the beaker or something. You know, it's like...
Yeah, I never understood that. I guess it works wherever you can find. It's better than drinking out of a plastic cup.
I think they're trying to say it's a nerd thing. Because I don't know what else it could be.
Well, you know, I guess he works with bodies. I don't know. That's a good question. Or chemicals, maybe. I don't know. Just spare something that was there.
Yeah, no.
They hauled his body somewhere private in his office, and didn't have any drinking glasses, obviously, since he's at work.
Yeah, but if I was the wife, I'd be like, I'm not drinking. You're an undertaker, okay? This is formaldehyde and shit. Yeah, I would not drink anything. I'll drink out of the bottle, buddy. But no. So anyway, it's just a little pet peeve of mine. So he gets up, and they tell him that they have a new idea. And they're like,
that's when you realize,
yeah, they go, you should go to Brazil. And then he goes, what? Yeah, you go by yourself, you get the plastic surgery done, and I'll meet you there in a month. And he's like, why? The whole plan was both of us to go. And she goes, it's not going to seem right. It's going to seem like something happened, or, you know, they might look into it more. If she just leaves automatically, they're going to assume that she's the killer. They don't say this, but I'm assuming that's what they're trying to say, which is true. The cops will go like, we're looking for a killer. We can't find this guy who supposedly came in and robbed you, which they don't say they took anything, but in the comic they say that they took the rent money. In the episode, they don't say anything they took. They just sold the house trash and he was dead. So he goes, okay. So he goes, yeah, I'll go. So he goes to Brazil, and it's really just like a fucking set. They didn't even go to the beach in California. They just built the set.
It looks so fake.
So bad. So bad. And
it looked like some sitcom set, some old Gilligan's Island set they used.
Yes. And so he's sitting there, and I don't know who that waiter is. I feel like he reminds me of the guy who's in The Simpsons, who plays Abu, the voice actor. I forgot his name. Arnad.
He reminds me of that guy. What was his name?
He was in Birdcage.
Hank Azaria.
Yes, that's what it is. Hank Azaria. I was like, I say Arnad. Yeah, Hank Azaria. That's who it is. Reminds me of. So Lou is at this. This is the funny part too. So Lou's at the Brazil, and he's like, I gotta call my wife. So he calls, and she never answers. He calls, she never answers. So every day he sees this fucking waiter. He goes, such a beautiful sunrise, right? And then Lou's not having it anymore. He's got this bandage on his face, and after a while, he finally gets it off, and nothing changed. I guess he had like a little indentation in his nose, but he looks exactly the same. There's no difference.
Yeah, and I didn't notice it till later on. I think, I mean, they must have done something with it because it's slightly different, but not enough to completely change his face.
No, it's pretty much the same. I think they just drew like an indentation and with like makeup, like so ridiculously. It was done for comedic purposes, and the mole is gone. He got the mole done, and his thing.
That's true.
That's his plastic surgery. So, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he.
I was gonna say, if by the end of the episode, did they know it was him, or are they just pretending that they didn't know it was him?
Oh well, let's get to that part. So he keeps calling. Now the phone number has changed. Doesn't even work.
Forgot about him.
So he's like, "Fuck it, I'm going over there. I'm gonna find out what's going on. It's been months I've been over here." Flies back, goes to the house, and he's like, "What the fuck?" Because they got money now. The house
whole new furniture.
Beautiful.
It looks like more like 90s furniture.
Yes, from the 50s to the 90s.
Had a whole gym and weights over there and elliptical.
Mm-hmm. And she's gorgeous, and his brother's got confidence, like he's been taking karate, or today's would be MMA classes,
like a little
judo,
little armbar or something. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, in the comic, it was a whole year, right? He was away, and he was like sending letters, and just never heard back.
Yeah, so it's funny they changed it. So then, she pretends she doesn't know who he is. He didn't change his face that much, and I think they did it on purpose for comedic purposes. Because it's fun. Not even the cops know what he looks like. Like the cop doesn't even remember, like that what his brother looked like. You know, like I know your brother. This is your brother. You know, they don't have no pictures of him anymore either. So they call the cops because he comes to the house. The cops come, and Strickland goes off on him, and they call him. He's the shitbag. He's not Lou Palomo. He's probably the killer. Right? So he says, so let's arrest him.
Yeah, I saw his dead body. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he said. I saw his dead body, but then nothing changed with his face, and that was the comedic fucking thing they were doing.
His mom didn't recognize him.
Yeah. So they have a trial. Michael J. Fox is the prosecutor, and that's what the thing with the fire poker comes into place, because they said that the blood on the fire poker is Lou's blood, because it is Lou's blood, but the blood on the knife is not Lou's blood because it wasn't Lou's blood. But guess what? It's because his brother's the mortician, so they have the only DNA they have for Lou is somebody else's fucking blood. That they say no, that's not his blood. You know what I mean? Like they say no, my brother wasn't that blood. This is my brother's blood. So now he's fucked, and he has a fake passport, a fake name. They bring witnesses from Brazil to come and testify and say he's whatever Smith, because that's what he said he was. And then the mother, the wife says that's not him. The brother says that's not him. And then they bring the mother, and she's just bad shit fucking crazy now. She is senile after losing her son. Right. So she's like, there's Lou. And then he's all happy. He goes, you see, here comes the cavalry. And then she goes, and who are you? And he goes, she goes, who are you? And she goes, what did she say? I'm Eleanor Roosevelt. And then they're like, Roosevelt. Shit. You know, so Lou gets found guilty by the jury that he was the killer. He's not Lou. He's actually the killer. And I forgot what the last line is, but it's pretty fucking... I know what the last line Lou says is, but I even remembered it from fucking watching. Like I was watching it again, I was like, blow me. That was it. He goes, blow me. And I'm like, yeah, that's the line. So he gets found as being the killer, not the brother. And they electrocute him. They put him in an electric chair. I forgot what they asked him. They said, "Mr. Smith, is it? You have any? Yeah. What's your last words? What's your last words?" And he goes, "Blow me," and then they kill him, and that's it. That's how the episode ends. So I find this episode to be fun. I also watch it for parts. Now, whenever I see a Michael J. Fox film or anything, I always look to see his twitches if he has them, and you could see he has them. I mean, Back to the Future, they did a magnificent job hiding it. Other things can't. But in this, you can see he kind of has a twitch, and he's trying to. I don't know. He's only in the fucking thing for like one scene or two scenes. He's only in the shot for two scenes. So, but you can see he has like a twitch where he's leaning over, talking to Lou. He kind of twitches, and then. But that's just another thing. I just look for it. But anyway, all in all, this episode. I know I talked about the entire thing. I like this episode. I found it fun. It's a fun episode. It's a really fun episode. That's all I can say about it. I like it a lot. I really do. I'm not saying it's 5 stars. If I had to rate it, I'd give it 3.5 or 4. I think 4. I think I'd give it 4. I'd give it 4. I like it that much. I like it. Oh, it ends with he does get electrocuted, but then they finally go to Rio, the brother and the wife, after he's dead. So when he's finally dead, that's when they go to Rio together. So. But yeah, so
that's solid. It's all the way that they ended it, even with the same guy that kept giving them the good mornings and then the good morning speech. What a wonderful morning, sir.
Isn't it Mr. and Mrs. Oh, for God, Paloma. I keep saying Palermo in my mind.
Yeah, it was solid. I think this is a perfect example of taking that original source material and just changing a few things, but still keeping the same idea and making it better. Actually, I think it's a great entry for the season so far. I'd say, it's hard to overlook some of the small details on that. Like, I guess you have to suspend your disbelief, because I think I don't think they could fully get away with this, especially with given. Yeah, probably they gotta have photos of this guy somewhere, and they would have put it up side to side. That's the same dude. Well, but yeah, for what it was, the intent was just how the comic told the story. So I think I'll let it slide, but I think that's a solid 3.5. I'd say 3.5 for me is solid.
Oh, okay.
Solid episode.
Yeah, I like it a little bit more. I think I like all the actors in it. I think for Michael J. Fox to have this being his first directing thing, I think he did a great job. I like the little things too, like how you see how they lived before, and it looks like not like they're poor, but everything is a hand-me-down. You know what I mean? It's like nothing is.
Yeah, nothing is really theirs.
Yes.
It's just something they got secondhand. And also, I mean, look, one of the first scenes, we open up the cabinet. This is like 30, 50 cans of tuna. So that's how they're living the life.
Yeah, that's all they're eating.
That mercury poisoning there.
Yeah.
Yeah, even their glassware looked like something out of the 60s too. I like these little retro looking like sunflowers on them. I was just going back to it. That beginning part of the episode.
I'm telling you, whoever they got this house from, probably the mother. She's probably in an old age home or something that they don't talk about. But most likely they took the mom's house. They just kept it the same way. And then finally, once they got rid of him and the mom, she's still out of the picture. He just moves in with the wife, and they just fix the house up. But like another thing to suspend your disbelief is like the cops wouldn't even think like, well, it's kind of strange that you married your brother's wife.
No, I mean that's just small things, but I think it's a solid episode still worth watching for this season. I watched just over the last one for sure. I mean, it's a more rewatchable episode.
Another beautiful sunset, Senor Smith. I don't know. I like everything about it. The little subtle things, as I was saying, like the set, changing the set, or the way the set looked from the beginning, and then when you see the difference, you don't really. That's not something you would really notice watching it.
They did a good job at, if you paid attention, touching up the house to show the drastic difference that the time has elapsed since he was, laying low in Brazil.
Yeah, they fixed everything. That's the same house because there's the fireplace.
So I
is still
appreciate
there.
that little detail
But
there.
they fixed everything. But the details, like you wouldn't really think about the old house, and then when you just see all the new stuff, you're not really gonna put that two and two together until if you watch it again. But just noticing how, like, the first thing I noticed this time watching it was the furniture of the first house. I'm like, this is all because also the way she's dressed and the way the house looked. It's like it was set in the '60s. It's like she's already become accustomed to that house. Like the house took over her. Whatever. Like they moved into the house. The house is old and decrepit. They don't have money to put into the house. They don't have money to do anything. So it's just the same. So she becomes like the house. Like her style becomes like retro because the house makes her feel like she's in a different time. You know. But once she gets with the little brother and they get the money and they fix everything up, now she becomes wealthy. Now his brother has more confidence because his big brother is not there to shit on him all the time. So he starts working out and he's tougher now. So they did little things like that. And then the idea, see, the only thing that's you're suspending your disbelief really is the fact that nobody would recognize him. But he's such a piece of shit. He never really held a job long enough for anybody to really give a fuck about him. And
that's true. Yeah, there wasn't enough anybody outside his immediate family to know who he is. And the mom seemed like she was long gone, so it looked like she was distraught from the whole thing, and just went senile.
And
so I guess I could agree with that.
And the idea too is that he's the type of person that when you see him coming, you go, ugh, this fucking guy. Like, you know, like you don't want to even associate with him.
He's gonna ask me for some money.
Yeah. So then, but I think they could have done a little bit more, making him look a little bit different in the beginning to this way, make it more realistic that, you know, but I think they went with a more comedic angle in this episode and it works. It just works for me, at least. So I like it. Yeah. I give it 4 out of 5. I think I like it a little bit more than you, but it's definitely the best out of the first 3 episodes for sure.
Yeah, I agree. It's solid. I'd watch it again. I mean, not as much as other ones, but it's worth rewatching, worth recommending at least.
So, yeah, that's it for this episode, I guess, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, we are working on getting cameras and for people that want to see us on YouTube. So that will be done sometime soon, hopefully before this season's done. I promise you will see our beautiful faces so you can see our reactions to what we're talking about, if that helps. But for now, you can stream us on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, iHeartRadio, anywhere you like, as well as you can find our videos in audio format with just a thumbnail that some people have problems with at YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute. Yes. And yeah, that's that. If you want to follow us, you can follow us at Creeps of Crypt on X. We do have a Discord. You'll see it in the description. It'll be there. Yes. So that's that. Do you want to shout anything out?
Yeah, you can follow me on X. I'm under Splinter47, and that's all I got to plug today. But it was good recording with you on this one. So at some point, we'll get on camera, folks, if that helps.
You guys should also check out GhostCrusadersMerch.com. We have some cool shirts for the Creeps of the Crypt for the podcast. And that's it. So I guess we will talk to you guys next time.
Peace.